The first and most important task to complete is the setup of your company within the PoolM8 system. This will take a bit of time and will take some planning and thoughtfulness. But once you have this done, the benefits will far outweigh the initial time investment in getting PoolM8 configured in the best way for your particular business needs. In order to complete this setup process, we have created a company settings module within PoolM8. This can be accessed at any time by clicking on your name at the top right of the screen and choosing company settings. Once you arrive on this company settings module, you will see 8 large icons or buttons. Each represents a component of the setup process, and there is a video in this series for each one. This video, number 3 in the series, will guide you through the creation, setup, and maintenance of your routes. If your company is in the pool maintenance business, routes will be very important to you. Setting them up properly is extremely simple, but is of the utmost importance in getting the most out of PoolM8. Like other modules in PoolM8, the route functionality is very much dependent on how you choose to run your business. The most common approach, though, is to create a route for each tech or technician on your team. As such, routes will often have names like Bob, Susan, or Jim to reflect the name of the tech responsible for servicing that particular route. To get to this module, click the top right of the screen where your name is displayed. From the drop-down menu, click Company Settings. The Route Setup module is the third button or icon on the Company Settings page. Click this button to see your route list. On the Route Setup module, the route list is the only container to configure. Like on the user setup, the route list will begin with a pre-configured route. This is Route A. You will most certainly want to change this name, and you will definitely want to change the information preloaded into the detail screen for this route. Before we modify a route, however, let's take a quick few seconds to see how to create a new route. To do this, just click on the Add New button at the top right of the route list container. This will begin the New Route wizard, and you will be guided through the creation of a new route. To do this, simply enter the name for your new route and click the Next button. Once that is done, you will be taken to the route editing form. This form is very basic but important. Below the name, you see 4 fields needed to complete the start address. This will, in most cases, be the home address of the technician or your office. You will decide which one to use based on how your technician typically starts the day. If the standard practice is to come to the office first to get supplies or to get the service vehicle, then you will want to use the office address as the start address. If the tech typically goes from his home to the first pool for the day, then you will want to use the home address of the technician. We have other videos that go into much more detail on the topic of routes. In this setup video, however, we are only covering the basics needed to get you started. Next, you will select the name of the technician assigned to this route. You are free to select any user within your organization. However, more often than not, a user is selected that is in the group of users that are of user type technician. This isn't required, it's just how we typically see it done with other PoolM8 users. To complete the setup of the route, you will choose a color for each day of the week. The colors that you choose will become useful when you are looking at maps of your routes. The varying colors provide a visual distinction when you are looking at an entire route at a glance. Each day will appear as a different color. For your convenience, we have pre-selected a variety of colors for the 7 days of the week. Feel free to leave those just as we have them set if you choose. To visually select a color, choose a point along the vertical color bar to put yourself into the right family of colors. Once that is done, you can choose a point in the color circle to fine-tune your selection. For each color you choose, the corresponding hex code will appear in the text box. This is the code for the color that you selected. Once you have selected your colors, don't forget to click the Save button located at the bottom of the form. As a quick example of what the color settings are used for, what you see here is a screenshot of an actual route map in PoolM8. Repeat this process for as many routes as you need to. Remember, a single route is capable of servicing all 7 days of the week. For this reason, routes are most often associated with the person maintaining the pools on that particular route. The reason usually to have second and third and fourth routes, up to as many as you need, is to accommodate the number of technicians you have working these routes. That's all there is to it for setting up your basic route structure. We have a series of routes videos that go much more into depth on adding pools to these routes, managing the routes, and working the pools on the routes. All we have covered here is the initial setup of the framework that makes your usage of routes possible. In our next company setup video, we will cover the setup of ticket classes.